Hello, this is Lis Nielsen, artist in the woods, and I am sitting out on my porch. It's still pretty hot, still in the middle of this heat wave that we're having in California, and so I will be painting in the studio today. Can't wait to get out again, but in the studio today. So I've been going through a lot of my studies this morning and trying to pick one that I think, first of all, when I go to pick a study, I want to be excited about painting it. I want to feel some kind of emotion, some kind of drive to paint that particular painting. And second, it needs to have some good qualities about it that I want to use. I don't know if I have photographs to go along with these studies. Some of them are very old, and so I can look through my picture file and see. But if I don't, sometimes that is a benefit to me, because then I rely on my knowledge and my feelings, my emotions about something, and then more on what I was seeing when I was out in plein air doing these studies. So I'm not going to show you these studies right now. I'll pick one and then show you the study, and then I will get into the painting. The painting is going to be larger this time, and so I will break this up into chapters. So I hope you enjoy this video. Now I'm just going to do a watercolor wash on the sky. So with watercolor, whatever you want to paint on and you want it to blend, you want to wet that area down. So that's the way I'll start that. So this is just water, and then I've got a little bit of, looks like cobalt blue here, that I will wash on, and that's just to get a very light sky painted in. And it should stop at that mountain there if there's not too much water on it. So I'm not really a watercolorist at this point in my life, but I started painting in watercolor a long time ago. Had a wonderful mentor who got me started really with my art career a long time ago. His name was Holly. Really fine watercolorist. So anyway, here's to you, Holly. He's no longer with us. But a little bit of watercolor here, and if I want some clouds going in, I can use my paper towel and pull some of that out of there. Later I can define around that. Go back in, maybe around those areas a little bit with a little less water on the paper. So this is just painting quickly. So here's my approach. The canvas back here, the large canvas, is an oil primed, very nicely oil primed canvas that I'll be working on. I have a small painting study that I did out in plein air. This is a study of southern Arizona area. There were some things about the study that I wanted to change. So I've tried those changes in my sketch. I did a sketch from this. Now, in the meantime, I went back to my picture file and I found some photographs of the area. Not exactly the photo of this painting that I was doing, but photographs of the area. I've started with the study. I have done a drawing tweaking where I have the mountain in place and maybe making more of a pathway through the trees here. Those are really the only changes I made. Then I've got my photographs for a little more information, because the way I was feeling was that to do a painting of this size, it was not a lot of information here. I could have pulled it off by using my palette knife and kind of my memory, my visual memory of places I've been, to really take some real information from the actual area where I was. I like the photos, but you're not going to see those kinds of colors in the photos, and obviously that's what's happening. This might have been a different time of day. It looks a little later in the day because of the shadow on the mountain. I will be sticking with this where I've got the yellow and the blue going on here. But then I'll use some of the information here with the grasses and tree details and things like that. So this actually is like a study to me. It's not really going to be a final painting. It's a study for a painting. Just wanted to make sure you understand the way this is being done. So I plan to go right into doing the oil painting, not in this video, but in another video. And kind of excited about that. I've been meaning to get to this over the last few days, and finally here with it. I go in with my mountain now, and so I'm looking at this one here now because I want to make sure I honor that what I had there. That's what I'm after there. Now remember, this is gouache now at this point. This is not just the watercolor. I've got a little bit more of this purpley tone, and I'm adding a little bit of my light yellow to it for some of this, and then I want some of that blue in there. So, and then a little bit of the white because I don't want it getting I think I want to get these branches and such drawn in. So I'm going to go in with some darker, warmer tones for those. So I reactivated my paint today. I told you I wasn't sure if that was going to work, but it did, which made me happy because I don't like to waste art materials. So by being able to reactivate the paint that was already on the palette, it made me very happy. Okay, so I'm trying to get this color in here, and I haven't drawn those, so I can draw them now by wetting that down, keeping it moist. Will work a lot better. This little brush I used last time, and I liked it a lot. And I'm continuing with this size brush. I usually use bigger brushes than this at the start, but for these small paintings I can get away with this. Get some of this natural life going on here with this. And see how these are going up? I don't have quite the same plane there. So I have to be careful of what to follow and what not to follow. I like the perspective that was showing on the road here. Back in here, this is the sort of unidentified, mysterious area. And it's the area where you want your eye to kind of go that way. And so I want to keep it pretty light, but on the cooler side. I'm thinking light greenish, bluish in tone. I have green in there, so that's basically, I was seeing some of that there, but I want it to go more of a blue feeling in here because it's going to go back in the background. Some of these will come out in here a little bit. Some of these there are different plants back in here, but I do want it to feel like an opening where you can walk through. So even like in here, I had a suggestion of a path. There will be shadows thrown across that path, so it won't be as bright as out here, the ground plane. asked about the medium, what medium you like to work in. Some of you who commented on my last video, I wanted to know if you were mostly interested in painting in gouache, or if you are also interested in oils. Then for me, gouache is like I said, a tool to use even with my oil painting process. And so I wanted to combine the two in this painting to show you that it can be used together. So it was important to me to think of a video content where both gouache and oil painters will get a lot out of this still. So I'm trying to fill in the masses right now, but I'm trying to do it in such a way that it's not thoroughly obscure. So, because I had a lot going on there, and I didn't want to get confused. I keep mixing back the light tones for the top of the trees because I want to make sure I'm keeping those light enough. If you can get the contour of the tree, people know what it is. It helps helps the viewer to see your painting very clearly. It's important because you see a lot of really obscure paintings and you have to sort of squint to see what it's about. And there's a place for that, but maybe the artist didn't intend to do that. They just didn't know how to pull it out if it was headed that direction. There are a lot of different beautiful tones within these trees. And so the core of the tree, that's where you see these really beautiful dark tones in here. The core of the tree, it's the internal shadow of the tree, and it basically gives the tree the strength and the structure that you want it to have. The trees have, because they're large masses that have to be held up. So they have to have all this density and strength within the trunk of the tree and whatnot. And then the top of the tree, the canopy, is creating the shadow within the tree too. I will do the light of the path. And actually, I'm going to go back into the watercolor because using the watercolor for a wash is ideal for these, to keep something very, very light. I can use some white in with that actually. So I'm seeing a lot of yellows and pinks in there. So I am just going to go ahead and start with a very light yellow wash of watercolor, a watercolor wash. And then because it will be wet, I can throw other colors into it while it is wet using a watercolor technique. Okay. I enjoy painting in gouache. I think I like the thickness of the gouache a lot. I like the look of it when it's done. I like the bright colors of it. Okay, I'm making this very thin. This is supposed to be sort of a grassy plant, and if something is dripping down in from something above, just wipe it with a paper towel. Have a paper towel handy or a rag. In watercolor, you can use a rag because it's not thick oils on that, so it actually works very well. I like this green here. I wonder if I can use it as an edge color for in there. I really like that green. Some back in here too. Sort of a nice transition color. This is supposed to be the top of that plant. My thought was if I bring the top of the plant up into this a little bit, the eye would run in this direction. It's dry. I was thinking that maybe I could have an oil painting and a gouache painting going at the same time of the same thing. Knowing me, I'd reach into the oils and think it was gouache. So there's these little plants also have little softer cores too. I wanted to keep this soft looking. I don't want it to detract too much. So, okay, give myself a little more mixing space, and then I want to put a little bit of red into it. Make it a little orangey looking. Let's see if I can. Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna go with that darker red. That's better. Just want to make sure I get enough of that ground plane wash in. So I'm just working on the wash part. I might go in with some gouache on top of it. And if I do something like that, so I would add some of the gouache into my mix then. For example, where I see these, there are grasses coming up here, and for some of those grasses, you know, then go in with your gouache, and it should read pretty well on top of that. So let's see, some of that pink. Mix up some of that pink, it might go in nicely on top of there. Wasn't quite what I was after. You can see where you can use the gouache and the watercolor to complement one another in the same painting. Want to be able to let the eye move back onto that pathway. Now we will have some of these lightening it up some. Color or lightness back there draws the eye. There. So now, since I've done that, I can go back in with some grasses and whatnot around it to make it blend a little better. But I'd say that for the most part, that was helpful to get your eye back in there. I like using these flat brushes for these kinds of things. And then I can soften them also. I wanted to show you that too. I wanted to show you how I soften the top of the mountain. Softer colors of branches in here. I'm adding some details into these. So I'll be developing these ideas a lot more in the oil painting, and I have to do that in parts because this size of an oil painting to do for a YouTube video is pretty big, especially the way I like to show most of the development of that. I think you'll get a lot out of it. I'm just trying to get some of that gesture back in here that I've lost a little bit of it. If I dry my brush off and then I go in and drag it across an already damp part of the plant, it does that dry brush stuff that I keep referring to. It's very, very effective for those softer areas. So if you kind of go in and you dry, you can even do that I just did. I put a little paint on, dried my brush off, and then I went in with that. So I'll try some of that now down here. Yeah, so that's nice. Yeah, pretty happy with that. Some dry brush down in here. Yeah, I am happy with that. Okay, now I wanted to show you one last thing before I end my video, and that is if I take a little bit smaller brush, and I want to make sure it's clean but damp. So I'm using a clean paper towel, and then if I go along the edge of that mountaintop, what it's doing is it's reactivating just the edge of it. So I want a soft edge on the top of that, and it reactivates the edge. Now I'm also reactivating the sky, which may backfire on me, so I have to be careful with this and be sure and zero in on that area I want to soften. But you can do that, and it really works. All right, I am going to call it quits on the gouache painting. Don't forget to subscribe, and I look forward to all the rest of the videos I will be posting for you.